I am sure the internet will react nice, calm, and peacefully to this news. But the cost cap penalties have finally been released. Of course, F1 now has a cost cap, and there have been reports for weeks. It honestly probably has been a month at this point that these reports have come out that Red Bull and Aston Martin have broke the cost cap, that they have, exceeded. They've overspent, and that they are going to be penalized. Aston Martin was like the lowest form, like the lowest, and then Red Bull was like a little bit more. So that was the report initially, but now it has been made official. They have reached an agreement, which that sounds like they're in contract negotiations. Like Red Bull and the FIA are in contract negotiations for their penalty. That's why it finds an agreement. That just sounded weird. Or like they're trying to, get a lesser sentence. It's like, life without parole. Well, they just negotiated for 25 years time with parole. I don't know. But let's go through the details of this penalty. FIA's website says, following the submission of all required documentation by all 10 Formula One teams, the cost cap administration carried out the first ever review process under the FIA Formula One World Championship financial regulations. These new financial regulations are a very complex set of rules that competitors were required to adapt for the first time. Red Bull Racing was found to be in breach. However, the cost cap administration recognized that Red Bull Racing has acted cooperatively throughout the review process and has sought to provide additional information and evidence when requested in a timely manner that this is the first year of the full application of the financial regulations and that there is no accusation or evidence that RBR has sought at any time to act in bad faith, dishonesty, or in fraudulent manner, nor has it willfully, concealed any information from the cost cap administration. In these circumstances, the cost cap administration offered to RBR and ABA to resolve this matter. That offer was accepted by RBR. An accepted reach agreement, dated 26th of October 2022, was therefore entered into by and between the cost cap administration and Red Bull Racing pursuant to Article 6.28 of the FIA Formula One financial regulations. A link to a summary of the terms of the ABA as provided for by Article 6.32 of the financial regulations is below. Instead of reading this big article thingy, why not just go to a reporter who just kind of gave us the details? So here we go. Chris Medlin, thank you. Red Bull gets $7 million fine and 10% reduction in car development time for budget cap breach. Breach was £1,864,000, which is equivalent to $2.2 million US, or 1.6%, but the FIA acknowledged if a tax credit had been correctly applied, it would have only been $432,625, or $500,000, or 0.37%. So it's not a ton, but it is still breaking the law, or the FIA law, I should say. 2.2 million is a lot of money, especially in terms of car development. Like, look, I think the budget's 140 million. So yes, that is a very, very small amount, but still that is a lot. So Red Bull should be punished, yes, but at the same time, this is the first time that they've ever done a cost cap, they have ever done a budget, whatever it is. So whatever they do for this first punishment is going to set the precedent for whatever they do in the future. If Mercedes and Ferrari see this, they go copy paste, they do 2.2 million over the budget next year, they're going to get the same punishment. That's how it should work. If they do the same thing, the same amount in terms of budget broken, they should get the exact same punishment. If they get a different punishment, whether it's less severe, more severe, then that's really bad, because they have set up a precedent here where they are saying Red Bull broke the cap by this much money. Here is why we're punishing them. Here's what we're doing. And if you do that, you're going to get this much. And I think if anyone else does it, whether it's Ferrari, whether it's Alpine, whether it's Williams, whoever breaks it, they should get the same penalty if they break it in that same window. If it was much more, obviously you got to consider, like taking away championship points. Of course, this is based off the 2021 World Championship, and of course, Red Bull's driver Max Verstappen won the Drivers' Championship, so they did win a championship, so that $2.2 million could have helped a lot. It's I don't know how much it helped. I don't know how much it gave them an advantage, but obviously, I mean, they were a top car that year. They finished second in the Constructors. They won the Drivers' Championship. So I don't know how much it helped them, but they did break the rules. They accepted that they broke the rules, and they reached an agreement versus trying to fight it and potentially getting a worse penalty, which on their end is smart, I guess. But at the same time, I think this is going to be controversial. Obviously, some people are going to say they should have had a more severe penalty. They should have had a points reduction. Max should have had the 2021 title stripped. I think that would have been a little bit extreme to take a title away if they were like $10 million over the budget, maybe. But it's such a delicate situation when you strip a title away from someone. So, and that title's controversial enough as is with the whole lapped cars thing and the last lap shootout, and that 1 year anniversary is coming up. I'm sure the internet will be calling for that. But yeah, I said this in a live stream last week. I said if I was running the FIA and I was punishing Red Bull, I would take however much they overspent by, I would take that out of their 2023 budget. And if they overspend again, then that's when we're going to start taking away points. You do it once, you get a warning, you still get penalized, but that's your warning. Like, we'll fine you, we'll take away development time, but, you're fine on the points end. You can keep your championships, keep your trophies, you're fine on that end. You do it again, that we're going to come down hard on you, and you're getting punished. You're going to lose points, driver's points, constructor's points. So that would be me if I was doing this, but I'm not doing this. So that's just my opinion, but I think that's a fine penalty. I don't really know. Once again, I think taking away points is too harsh on that much. Stripping Max of his title is too much, but also it's not too little. Like, if they just came out with a fine, that would have been like, what? That's stupid. But they took away car development. I think that's a big deal to take away development. Obviously Red Bull, they got a rocket this year. So, they may not even need development, but they're going to need some development. Other teams are going to improve. Mercedes is likely going to improve. Ferrari, they may improve, but their strategies may still be crap. Anyways, there's still an opportunity to improve there for Red Bull, and if they can't improve, they may need that extra 10%, so that could hurt them a bit. So, I think the development time is huge. That's going to hurt them a little bit. I don't think it'll hurt them too much. I think they'll still be fighting for the championship next year. But still, I think this is a good punishment. It's just so tough to say because this hasn't happened before. So there you go. The Red Bull broke the budget cap. They said that they broke it, and they got a penalty. Speaking of the budget cap, this is what you're really here for. That we didn't just talk about Red Bull for 8 minutes. We're going to talk about Aston Martin for 30 minutes because they are the more important one. Aston Martin has been given a $450,000 fine for procedural breach of the cost cap. 12 items, which is one fewer than Red Bull, where the FIA stated it incorrectly excluded or adjusted costs. So, obviously, Aston Martin, not as extreme of a penalty, so they don't have to give as big of a fine, and they're also not going to get development time taken away. So, there you go. That's it for that. We're done with the cost cap talk. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Should Red Bull have been penalized heavier? Should they have had points taken away? Should they have gotten more development time taken away? Should, I don't know, more things happen? I don't know. What about Aston Martin? Aston Martin's so criminal, they overspend and they still make a mad car. What should their punishment have been? Anyways, let's move on to something else and something even more confusing. That's right, we're going to talk about Fernando Alonso. Of course, in the US Grand Prix, Fernando Alonso, his car almost took off like an airplane thanks to Lance Stroll throwing a late block. And Alonso we thought he was done. I thought he was done. I see a car, an F1 car specifically, flying and landing on all four wheels. I assume the suspension's broken. I assume the inside of the car is broken. The engine's got some damage maybe. I just assumed everything was broken and that he was done. But no. Fernando Alonso and his Fernando Alonso-ness comes back, charges through the field, finishes P7. Shocked. He took that thing that was an airplane into P7. Incredible. He should have won driver of the day. Like, don't get me wrong, Vettel did great, but Alonso took a freaking airplane to P7. Anyways, hours after the race, they decide to strip Fernando Alonso of his P7 because Haas filed an investigation because his mirror was missing, and they said that's unsafe, and we've had that same situation happen to us, and we got penalized for it. So, yeah, basically Haas was pissed off that they didn't get penalized for something they got penalized for a few months ago. And now here we are in, October? Looking at this news, looking at, Fernando Alonso going from P7 to P15 because they handed him a 30-second penalty. Well, Alpine appealed the penalty, and here we are on Friday morning of the week after the race, and Fernando Alonso has gone from 7th on Sunday to 15th late Sunday night, back to 7th on Friday morning. You with me? Anyways, on Sunday night in Austin, Haas lodged a protest on the grounds that Alonso, who took the flag in 7th place, had finished the race in a car in an unsafe condition following his high-speed collision with Lance Stroll's Aston Martin. Alonso was given a 30-second post-race penalty, which meant the two-time champion was demoted to 15th place in the classified results, losing him 6 World Championship points. Alpine disputed Haas's protests on the grounds that it had been lodged too late, 24 minutes past the specified deadline. But the FIA concluded in Mexico City that there is no ability or right for any party to protest a decision or the stewards, nor against a summons to a hearing. However, Alpine then asked for a right of review in light of the new evidence, and a further hearing on Thursday evening ultimately resulted in Haas's original protest being deemed inadmissible, as it was adjudged the team could have submitted it within the required time limits. It means Fernando Alonso's 7th place and 6 points from Austin are reinstated. Yeah, I mean, you missed the deadline. You missed the deadline, Haas. Like, come on. You couldn't have made that decision 30 minutes earlier. Yeah, Fernando Alonso in his pre-race press conference, he was like, this is a big moment for Formula One because right now it's 24 minutes, but soon it'll be 10 years. We'll be overturning race results in 10 years. And he was kind of going on not a rant, but he was like making his point. But I like Fernando Alonso. He kind of just says what he wants, and, it's kind of epic. Anyways, Alonso gets his P7 back from Austin. We got Mexico City this weekend. Oh my gosh, please. We need a Checo victory, please. That would be epic. The crowd would be epic. The scenes would be epic. Anyways, Red Bull broke the cost cap, got penalized. Aston Martin did as well. And of course, Aston Martin, with all their success this year and last year, yeah, that'll show them. I'm sorry, Aston Martin fans. I'm so mean. Alonso got his P7 back. That's all for the F1 side of things. Races on Sunday. We'll talk about that. Have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe, share, and all that, and I'll talk to you later.